Hey guys, Drifter here. This probably isn't the kind of game that you would expect me to play, let alone make a video about, but I gotta admit that I really enjoy Sayonara Wild Hearts. I wanted to use this video as an opportunity to share it with you in hopes that you might also enjoy it, and today we're doing that in the form of a review. Sayonara Wild Hearts is, according to its official webpage, a pop album video game. Sayonara Wild Hearts is a dreamy arcade game about riding motorcycles, skateboarding, dance battling, shooting lasers, wielding swords, and breaking hearts at 200 miles per hour. It stars Queen Latifah, yes, that Queen Latifah, and was developed by Simogo and Annapurna Interactive, which many of you probably are not familiar with because they're best known for making mobile games. At its very core, Wild Hearts is a simple and occasionally very clever rhythm game. You'll spend the entirety of the game racing on some kind of track. It'll start off as a skateboard and then eventually a motorcycle, a boat, a car, a deer, PSVR, or even just falling. The best way to complete any level in the game is to get in sync with the song and to follow the hearts around the map. And the song will kind of give you an idea of the flow left, right, up, down, and the heart path is almost always the safe path, so if you follow your heart, you win the game. Hearts only give you score, it's not necessary to pick them up to complete the level, but getting high scores does unlock a few secrets. If you touch a solid object, crash, or get blown up by any of the stuff that's thrown at you, it's an instant fail, instant death, and instant restart. However, you do have infinite lives, so you can try as many times as you want. The first third of the game is a little bit repetitive, you'll do a lot of the same things, but then after that you're constantly going to be changing it up, like this mushroom clip where they give you drugs and you run through the forest on drugs. And just when you think you've seen it all, bam, now you're on a dragon. You're flying a dragon through the subspace of love or something. Is your motorcycle getting boring? Well, how about doing it in first person with guns and lasers? They keep changing up the core gameplay just enough to keep you interested. It starts off very simple, very boring, and you're going to think that you've seen everything there is to see, that it's on rails, and you'll start dozing off, and then right after about that first third of the game, it's really going to start picking up and getting a lot more interesting and varietous for the gameplay being that simple. But let's be honest with each other. If you're playing Sayonara Wild Hearts, you're not interested in gameplay. The game basically plays like a mobile game, but what you're here for, the reason you clicked on this video or have even watched this long, is for the music and style of the game. And Wild Hearts is the epitome of style over substance. That's true for both the gameplay and the story. Each level is a different song that relates to part of the story, and I'll use the word story very loosely here. The story of the game is basically that astral beings, who are represented by tarot cards, have thrown the universe out of balance. I actually sell these cards in real life. I have a deck of them. They're very nice little collectible items. I've had a lot of fun with them. And in some ways it reminds me a lot of the tarot cards in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders. But Disarray has been created in the Cosmic Order, and you play as a young girl who's heartbroken enough to become the Fool, the tarot card the Fool, and you have to work to unite all the cosmic cards together once again. When you do piece together the chaos that is this story, it's a pretty simple story about heartbreak, moving on, and forgiveness, and there's some not so subtle hints about things like defeating the hate skulls with the arrows of temperance. But then again, the story isn't really the focus of the game. Wild Hearts is all about style, it's about being flashy, it's about going fast, it's about fashion, it's about looking cool. And in a lot of ways, it reminds me of those short anime OVAs where they have like 20 minutes of runtime and they just go all out on the budget and it's just crazy, awesome animation that's constantly changing. Oftentimes they couldn't even afford voice actors, so they just got a musical track and put all the best visuals possible on that musical track. That's basically what the game feels like, and it plays a lot like a fever dream, but in a good way. My biggest criticism with Wild Hearts is that it almost isn't a game. You literally only steer and press one button to interact with anything. I played on the Switch, and that was the A button and the left stick. At first, when I saw this at PAX, I literally thought it was a mobile game, and that makes sense given that the developers basically only make mobile games. Currently available on PlayStation 4, Switch, Apple Game Store, and a few other places maybe, but honestly it easily could have been a mobile game. The first third of the game is so easy and so hand-holding that it's like a no-fail experience. You can just kind of dumb luck your way through it, and then all of a sudden, look at this crazy stuff going on and have to dodge and micromanage and can't see anything. It gets really crazy really fast. There's no on-screen instructions, there's not many hints. Dying or hitting anything is an instant failure and restart, which my issue with that is only that it disrupts the flow of the song. You want to play through the game and experience the song and the story, and having to restart every single time kind of disrupts that. I wish you had a health system where so many hits would make you restart. There are some parts of the game that are truly on rails and others that you can control, but it's not very clear which one is which. You just kind of have to guess or learn by trial and error. To be frank, Wild Hearts is barely even a game. To me, it more closely resembles one of those experience-type VR games that walks you through almost everything while holding your hand. As you're playing through the game, you will definitely notice some LGBT overtones, some very strong ones with the questionably gendered but probably female protagonists, the gender-neutral twins, the female relationships. It's very SJW-ish, kind of, to be honest, but given the sort of craziness and, like I said before, fever dream sort of way the game plays, I don't think that it's overt or particularly disrupting to what you're there for, which is pretty much all style and fashion. It's just a game that you have to be feeling, and if you're not feeling it, it won't be fun. So why do I like this game so much? Why would I stream it? Why would I even bother making a video on a game like this? In short, Wild Hearts is just so beautiful, so catchy, so fun, so stylish, and completely refreshing for me. I play mostly manly shooting games, day in and day out, about shooting people into little gory bits, and about getting weapons and bombs and conquering and that sort of stuff. And sometimes it's a nice change of pace to go and play just a totally different game, and you can't get much different than Sayonara Wild Hearts. The music aspect of the game is something I rarely dabble with. The style aspect is something I can barely appreciate, much less truly understand the people that do fashion and all this sort of stuff. It has amazing flow, the music was fun to listen to, and it just sort of really sucked me in at an emotional level. Because when I first picked it up, I was really tired of Call of Duty. I really didn't want to grind out shooting more dudes again and again and again. So playing this upbeat, quirky, fast-paced little game was just all that I wanted, and it made me feel so good to play it. If you want to try Sayonara Wild Hearts, it's only about $15 depending on what region you're in. You'll beat the game in an hour, hour and a half, and that might be the biggest letdown for me of the whole thing, is not necessarily that the gameplay isn't complex, but it left me wanting more. I wanted more Wild Hearts. I was hoping for at least like a 10-hour game campaign out of this one, but I got about an hour and a half. I could essentially beat it in one sitting, and I have. But who knows, maybe it'll be popular, maybe it'll be successful, and maybe they'll make a fully fleshed out sequel one of these days, we hope? I'm not entirely sure. But that's all for the review. My review, I'm not doing like a numerical score or good, bad, ugly, anything like that. I think that my opinion's pretty clear. The game is barely a game, but man, it's catchy, it's stylish, it's fun, and if you've got a few dollars to spare and you want to go through a fun experience, I think it's worth your money. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, also here's some raw gameplay and music so that it gets over 10 minutes long and the YouTube algorithm doesn't dink me.